when it comes to that absorption and getting the protein is like making sure your gut is healthy too. You have the proper enzymes. So, you can almost like boost the effectiveness of protein with enzymes.
Welcome to the Full Fueled Podcast. I'm going to set what the new normal looks like in my life.
You're not limited by your genetics.
You have a superpower that is lifting people up.
So unfortunately, most businesses aren't going to use the highest quality ingredients.
What's your approach?
He's jacked.
I know he's jacked. That's why I'm asking him.
I don't think he lifts.
Yeah.
Consistency in everything that we do that really compounds.
Only way we're going to get the word out is with you. Live full fueled, live beyond limits, baby. Let's go. Welcome to the Full Fueled Podcast, episode number 56. And you're here with your host, Matt Tack.
Dr. Alfred Alessi.
And we're going to be talking about some good things today. What do we got today, Doc?
Yeah, man. You know what I thought would be cool? We talk a lot about supplementation, nutrition, things that we try, right? Different biohacks to help optimize and elevate our game. And I was like, what if we just went through a list? We'll bounce them back and forth to each other and kind of rank where we find the effectiveness in some of the stuff that we recommend for people and the stuff that we tried. Because you and I are both, we guinea pig stuff. We're like, hey, this sounds, someone recommended this. This looks like a good product. Let me try it. Maybe it's something we cling to long term, maybe not. But I came up with a list of some of the stuff that we've been doing. You and I tend to be on the same page with a lot of things. So let's just do it, man. I'll go through, I'll name something. I'll talk about kind of what I've experienced with it. And then I'll give my recommendation. And then you tell me kind of how you see it effectiveness as well. And let's say like 1 to 10 scale, right? 10 being super effective, 1 being not effective. Does that sound cool?
10-4. Let's do it.
10-4, 1 to 10. All right. First thing on the list here I have is creatine. Creatine is one of those things, man, that in my opinion is like everyone should be on. It has benefits for building muscle, benefits for cognition and focus, obviously benefits for energy. So it's also been, proven to be one of the least side effect risk, safest things out there. And it's dirt cheap. I mean, you can find it pretty much, for the most affordable supplement you can get out there for a lot of dose. For me, I'd say it's something I'll never stop using. I'll always use, whether you kind of do a little bit heavier cycles at times, but effectiveness, man, I'd put it at probably like a 7. It does what it's intended to do. Now you don't feel much from it. It's not like you take creatine and you're like buzzing or you notice, but I think, long term, if you're on it, you can tell when you're not on it too. You feel maybe a little deflated or a little less of that like pop, that get up and go. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I honestly would put it much higher. I think it's one of the most important things. Creatine monohydrate absorbs so quickly into the various, obviously, muscles for resistance training purposes. So I think it's, man, I'd put it up there as an 8 or a 9 in terms of a supplementary thing. I think a lot of people just do not, they get inadequate protein sources anyway. And so adding that in there is huge. And then also, you explained it, the cognition piece is huge. So it's essentially a nootropic in a way. I don't think it's completely classified as a nootropic, but definitely has cognitive enhancements properties that are beneficial. So there's really no reason why it shouldn't be a supplement. And I think, some of the best ones, you definitely want to get the good ones. I know you have a couple names that you use. I just use simply creatine. But I know you have a really good one that I want to try out. It's more micronized and able to break down a little bit easier, but I highly recommend everyone use creatine.
Yeah, well, there's like a patented version called Crea Pure, which is just like the purest form you can get. So I usually recommend that, and that can be found in different brands. So just look for Crea Pure. I think people get, like, if you were to ask like our parents or something, like, hey, what do you think about creatine, or what do you know about it? The bodybuilder thing, like that's what they know. And so people don't understand really what it is. It's your body's like primary energy system for the first like 0 to 7 seconds of any kind of intense exercise. So, but again, we talked about it has other benefits as far as, fueling the brain and cognition. So I think everyone should be on it.
For sure. What's number 2?
Number 2. All right, going down the list here. I have protein powder. I know you're gonna love this one. You're the
Love me
protein
some
powder
protein
king.
powder.
I'm gonna put protein powder up there too, man. I mean, I think if you do it right, it can be very effective in filling the gaps, right? If you're trying to build lean muscle, you're trying to lose weight, protein is just the macronutrient that's king. So it's hard though oftentimes to get adequate protein through your diet. It's just a lot, right? Especially guys like you and I, we're bigger guys. We're trying to, consume more, 200, 250 grams of protein a day. That's a lot, man. You get full. It's getting that down sometimes is not easy. So the protein powder, I know you and I use it the same way to kind of fill those gaps, or like kind of bridge between meals as well. So I'd put it up there, man. I'd say 8, right, on effectiveness. It's doing what it's intended to do. And I mean, it's not like there's no side effects from it, right? It's not like it's dangerous or anything. It's a very safe thing to do. I think you got to watch out for some of the brands that are super funky flavors, like the Fruity Pebble flavored or whatever. There's a bunch of crap in there. So going with something that's a little bit more simple, maybe looking for naturally sweetened. And then the different types is like the isolate versus the concentrate. So like a whey concentrate is going to have a little bit more carbohydrates, whereas the isolate's a little bit more broken down into like a pure protein. So what do you got?
Yeah, I would put it up there, just for me, it's a 10, just because I think that everyone should have some sort of supplementary, vice to add to their fuel and their repertoire to maintain muscle mass. You and I both agree on this, is that muscle mass is everything, and getting proper amino acids into your day-to-day is essential. And so utilizing that allows that to happen, and allows that to rather efficiently. I have 275-gram shakes a day. So I have literally 3 scoops of the ISO 100 hydrolyzed protein. I'm a big believer in the hydrolyzed. Yes, there are some artificials in there. But the thing is, it's like broken down for you. And that's really where the mush comes into play. If you can get something into your body that like naturally, like it doesn't take a ton to break that thing down, that's like added from other like meal groups that you might have, like you're not being overly invasive to your gut, right? And so like, because that's the big thing. If you're eating all the time and you're just like consuming chicken all the time, right? That's going to be super invasive to just the body, the breakdown, just like all the food going through your, large and small intestines. Like it's harsh on it. And so if you can get something that can kind of pacify that, so that's where I should be an ambassador for the ISO 100, because I do completely agree with you. Don't go off and get crazy flavors. Stick to it. Chocolate, vanilla. I get the chocolate peanut butter. It doesn't have an insane amount of fillers in it, but it is so broken down for you where I'm easily able to get 75 grams of protein. Now you have to say, like, how much of that is bioavailable? I don't know. So let's guesstimate that you're getting actually 75% of that. That's why I always over assume and then get 75 grams, because it's 25 grams per scoop. And then maybe I'm locking in, 55 to 60 of those as bioavailability. So I highly recommend it, though. Find a source that's good for you. I like the ones that are going to be on lower carbohydrates, because I like getting my carbohydrates from whole food sources.
Yeah, I mean, to tangent a little bit on that, when it comes to that absorption and getting the protein, is like making sure your gut is healthy too. You have the proper enzymes, so you can almost like boost the effectiveness of protein with enzymes. If you're taking some kind of protease or amylase enzymes that are going to help your body to actually get that, as well as the other stuff you're eating too. So, and then just making sure you have good gut health. That's important, because if not, this stuff's passing in and out and you're not getting that as much, right? And then you're kind of wasting money and time. But yeah, I agree with you
One
on
thing
that.
I do want to quickly add to that is, that's why like apple cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar is actually creates those enzymes as well, and the production of that. And so just, getting the traction there, getting the movement in your gut, those are really, really important, because you don't want to stagnate the process. And then you're like, your metabolism isn't working and your thyroid isn't working, and then you balloon up to 20 plus pounds that you didn't expect.
Yeah, honestly, the quick plug, the best enzyme that I've used is called Masszymes, and it's from a company called Bioptimizers. We actually have an affiliate code with them. On top of my head, I don't know what it is. We'll put it in the show notes for this, the link to that. But that's, it's a broad spectrum enzyme. And again, Masszymes, they named it that because it helps you to get as much optimized breakdown of what you're putting into your body. So really good product. I like that one. I'm on that every day. With my higher protein meals and stuff, I take that. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. All right, let's go down the list here. Next thing I have is pump products. So like pre-workouts that have like citrulline, arginine, glycerol, that kind of stuff. I guess it's a little bit more broad than what we were just talking about, but I mean, effectiveness, like they're very effective, right? You get that pump, which is going to deliver more blood flow to the muscle. If you're doing cardiovascular, it's going to just help, to get more of a healthy blood flow going. So, I'd put like maybe like a 6 or 7 on those. It's not like they're going to make or break your workout. You missed your pre-workout that day. Oh, I might as well not go to the gym because I didn't take my pump product. It's like, that's, I wouldn't say it's that extreme, but I do think they can benefit, right? I think you can get a lot out of it. So if you use it correctly, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would completely agree with you. I'd put it in that. I think that there's a roll off period and a roll back on. I think you probably should be utilizing that. Maybe not every day, where like you can have, you go a couple weeks with it and a couple weeks without. But there's massive advantages to it. So some of the best ones that we had, our good friend Corey Van Dorn, who's been on our podcast. I love Transcendence. He's put a lot of quality nootropics in there. So Transcendence is a great one. I use this great one. It's a little bit more natural. It's called Amino Leaf. I really enjoyed Amino Leaf. That was great. I just used Thentic the other day that you had given me, and Thentic was a pretty phenomenal product.
Yeah, it was good.
That I enjoyed. So I don't know if you have a few others you want to share, but those were some of probably the top 3 for me.
Yeah. I mean, those are the ones I've been using lately. I'm actually looking over at my stack. Yeah, I got the Transcendence is probably our favorite. I think the flavor is really good on that. Just dosed really well. And then the Thentic as well is almost like super dosed. That was a guy I met at that Fit Fest we did. He's a doc, I think he's a pharmacist, but he created this pre-workout that's just a butt ton of citrulline in there, man. Your muscles pump up on your first set. So really good product too, and like natural ingredients. So I like that one a lot. But overall, I mean, I think, getting some extra blood flow to the muscles is never a bad thing. So cool. All right, let's go. Speaking of blood flow, this is one that I've been doing that you have not yet. Low dose Cialis. All right. Now, you might not be able to speak to this, but what I have noticed is crazy vascularity, amazing pumps in the gym, even if I'm not taking a pump product, and energy. I've noticed like more like denseness in my muscle as well. But low dose Cialis is basically dilating the blood vessels. So you're going to deliver more blood flow and oxygen to the muscle, which then as you're working out is going to give you more energy. It's going to deliver everything else, but your recovery is better. I've been recovering really well as well. I think it's super effective.
I've seen that firsthand too, by the way. So I've seen the recovery component definitely firsthand. I mean, from a hamstring injury to where you were a month ago, insane.
Yeah, I'm never sore. I mean, obviously we do a lot of other stuff too, but I'd put that up there, man. I'd put the low dose Cialis at maybe like an 8, right? It's obviously a medical intervention, so it's a little bit more risk heavy. So you got to weigh the side effects there, but the literature shows like it's not the 50, 60 milligrams that guys are taking for ED, right? Which is that's that's the prescribed reason for the drug, but they created the low dose Cialis to be taken on like a daily basis, so that for if you don't necessarily have say ED, but you want to be ready, right? And that's the thing. Obviously, the benefits in that department are fantastic as well. We'll just leave it there, but Yeah, I'd say it's highly effective, and overall, it's but again, like if we're talking risk, this one has a little bit more risk to go with it as well. So it's not like a natural arginine, citrulline, which is just gonna create nitric oxide. Do you want to speak to that at all, or do you want to just move on?
No, I can't speak to that. I don't use it.
All right, fantastic. We'll get you on it. All right, here's one that you can speak to next on the list. It's going to be a fun one. TRT or TOT, testosterone optimization therapy.
Massive believer in this. I am a massive believer also in the sub-Q model. So I think that there's different, I guess you could say derivatives of it. Like you can get the pellet form that is a small incision in your spine. You can do an oral. You can do subcutaneous. I tend to really get a good cadence of doing every other day. So I do direct injection. You got to poke yourself. So not a lot of guys, dude, I did not realize how many guys like have a fear of needles. I just don't have a fear of, yeah, I just don't have that. But what is that? What is the word?
Tyrannophobia. Makes no sense. I don't know why it's called that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. So there's a bunch of guys. So you can't get the pellet form. I've seen a lot of guys have success with that. I'm a big, massive believer in this. I've been on it since June. I kind of like have gone through a little bit of trial and error of like dosage, when, like what timing. Mine's in the morning. That's when my testosterone levels are naturally going to be the highest level of production. So that's when I'm doing it on an every other day basis. I get a really good cadence out of that. But I'll tell you what, like in terms of like overall energy levels, that and recovery, I would say energy levels most important though is that I'm able to operate a full day. Whereas before I was not operating a full day. I would have been at like, it would have been 25-30% capacity, to be honest with you.
Your brain was shutting down at like 2 p.m., man. I remember it was brain fog was the biggest thing that we were talking about.
Huge. So made a massive impact. And then obviously, like as you carry that into the gym, you're going to be becoming more optimized and you're going to be able to recover. I'll be honest, flat out honest with you. And I've been on a couple podcasts and said this. One of my biggest things that I've seen from taking testosterone is my first step playing basketball. I literally did not have like the first step was it went away, right? And so I would just like focus on shooting. I wouldn't even take it to the hole all that much. My first step is completely back. Like I'm able to take guys like off a dribble and then get around guys in the lane. And that's just something I love doing. I love playing basketball still. So when I'm playing on a weekly basis, that has completely changed in terms of like how I'm maneuvering in actually playing basketball. It's not just focusing like, just getting my shot. And so it's been pretty wild, like really, really wild though, to see that. To kind of like be like, dude, you still got it. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, you got it back, baby.
Got it back.
Yeah, I think obviously, what would you put it 1 to 10 effectiveness?
It's a 10 for me.
Yeah,
hands
it is
down,
super
off the
effective.
chart.
I'd say 10 as well. I've been on it just maybe a couple months less than you, but my approach to it was not that I had low testosterone. I'm only 32, but I was in a mid-range, right? And I was like, okay, like I listen to and read a lot of Jay Campbell's work, and the concept of optimizing rather than replacing is just what stuck out to me. Is like, how do I optimize this in a healthy way to get it to be as good as it can be, rather than like, wait till in the future, maybe it's low, maybe it's not. But that was my whole point. And, you can do it safely. We work with a doc. Obviously, we have Taylor, who's we partnered with, who prescribes for us and who we use for our optimizers program. But if done correctly and safely, and you're getting your tests done on a, quarterly basis, it's safe, for the most part. I think there's obviously a trial and error at the beginning. You have to know kind of what dose you're on. At the beginning, I was on a dose that was slightly too high, so my level got pretty up there. I feel amazing. Obviously, I feel like a freaking Hulk, but we tapered it down a little bit to get to more of like a, not supernatural dose, more of like a normal. level. So, it's been good. But guys who are considering it or curious or thinking about it, you have to take a few things into consideration, that it is something that you will more than likely be on forever, long term, right? You start messing with your body's natural production of testosterone. It's, you have to take that into account. So there is also a lot of stuff that shows it's going to mess with fertility too. So, if you want to have kids, you just got to take that all into account, right? And work with a doc who's really knowledgeable and can guide you through that stuff and kind of be on top of everything. I think where guys go wrong is they just start doing it, and they're just like, I'm just going to do it, right? And they don't track. I just heard this stat: 50% of men on testosterone are not getting follow-up blood work. They just get on it, and that's what they do.
It's insane.
And I'm like, that is insane, because how do you know what's going on inside your body at that point? Now you're messing with stuff and you're not following up. So I don't recommend that. I think that's dangerous and reckless. I think doing it safe, it's a very, very powerful and effective alternative for just longevity, right? You're going to boost muscle, energy, focus, all of it. So it's a 10 for me as well. Anything else on that?
No, that's good.
Cool, man. Let's do a couple more here. The functional mushrooms I have here, right? Like the lion's mane, the cordyceps, the reishi. I think I love them, man. I do mushrooms daily. The good kind. But the lion's mane is one of those things that's been shown to produce BDNF. The cordyceps helps with your performance. And then the reishi is one that helps with like calm and sleep. So I know we're getting a little low on time here. So real quick, effectiveness 1 to 10. You are the mushroom guy, Nudie. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think nootropics are, I would say, I go on and off, and it was something that even you had mentioned. I think somebody advised you, is that like nootropics are meant for stints. They're not meant for like daily use. And so like when you're utilizing nootropics, it's like whether it be the lion's mane or even maybe a psilocybin or whatever it might be, that that they're in really like shorter stints where you aren't utilizing those. And I think that's a lot of programming too, is that like you do it for a period and then you kind of have a break, you give your body a rest, and then you go back on it, because your body adapts rather quickly. So I would say, it's a 5 or a 6 for me. Just dialing in those nootropics, building those in, but then having them in short stint periods, right? Use them for 6 weeks, maybe get off for 3 or 4 weeks, and then you can hop back on.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. That's like everything. Our body's going to get thresholds. It's going to get to a place where your dose response is you need more for the same benefit. So that's where you cycle off of stuff and make sure you're just, kind of listening to your body in that way. I'd say I'd put them at like a 7. I mean, I think they have good benefit. You can use them for focus, pre-workout, digestion, right? They have the good benefits there. So yeah, overall. But I think for time we'll wrap today with this. Maybe we'll do another one of these, because I know there's a few other things we had to talk about. But anything you want to conclude
As
with?
always,
our sponsors? Yeah,
our sponsors. We always got to give a shout out to Nutrition Solutions. If you want to head on over to Nutrition Solutions, they will give you a 15% discount on your first order. Phenomenal source just to optimize your daily life, getting in the proper nutrients you need, but with a bunch of pre-made meals, but only the top quality proteins, grass-fed bison, all sorts of beef and chicken. Go check them out. Nutrition Solutions. Put in code FULLFIELD15 and get your first order there. Alessi Functional Health. Get to a pain-free future. Make sure you're getting ahead of the game in your health. If you are getting it behind the game and you are feeling any sort of pain, whether it be in your wellness or in your total structural, whatever it is, get to a pain-free future. Come check us out at lessifxhealth.com and book your appointment today. See our team over there. They're amazing. And we got a bunch of things going on there. And last but not least, we want to highlight our Optimizers program. Do you are interested in living the most optimized life? We take you from A to Z on basically how to get to a fulfilled life. And we'll take you through our 6 pillars and what those mean. But as always, we want to end you at this episode. Live fulfilled, baby. Live beyond limits.
Let's go.